Hello everyone, how you doing? And welcome back to Skye and Evan in the morning. Today, today you may think we're gonna do Rear Window, but so here's the thing. Here's the thing that happened. Um, we did Babylon, and Evan suggested Rear Window. That was gonna be episode 49. But then I got sick. And so we uploaded an episode that we recorded ages ago that has been on a back burner of like whenever we miss a week, we're gonna release the pistol episode. Um
It had to get released at some point. We may as well like take the excuse
yeah.
because it's like otherwise that thing would have never come out. We've
Yeah.
been insanely good about like sticking to our deadlines and making this a weekly thing, which is really interesting. Like
Yeah.
I didn't figure that would be the case, but we pulled it off.
We have. But yeah, with the 1 week we missed, I ended up posting Pistol. And for episode 50, we've talked about this for like months now that we wanted to do something a little special. And my idea was to do the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. Because I have this crazy hot take that TASM 2 is actually good. And I know that people fucking hate the Amazing Spider-Man movies, especially 2 because of some bad criticisms from YMS and Rob the Movie Maker. I mean, I blame those two for the most part for like the perception these movies have because their videos were so bad. But yeah. So today we're gonna be talking about that. Episode 51 is gonna be Rear Window, which we haven't recorded yet, and then after 52 we're gonna return to normality. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mentioned this that I'm just like I don't even really know what I'm gonna add because I like I said, you love these movies.
mm-hmm.
There's like a really strong connection and I really honestly didn't need to watch one again. I did kind of skim the third act because I did actually watch that a lot when I was younger.
Uh-huh.
But the second movie I never did. I never liked it when I watched it. It was just like, take it or leave it. Too many villains, too convoluted, too long. I
Too
just
many
didn't
villains is a
really
criticism I
care.
always find funny because it has like 1.5 villains.
Yeah.
It's
Well, even
Electro, and then
still,
at the
it
end
is.
there's Goblin too. Like there's 2 villains
Yeah.
at
Well,
most.
the Rhino's basically just bait for the next movie, which is another thing
Well,
Sony and their
Rhino. The
sinister
thing
fucking
is,
six set up. It's like,
if it
okay.
wasn't for the trailer, people would not care about the Rhino in
Well,
that
yeah,
movie like being a
it's,
thing. It's just like a one-off
it's
villain in the start, and then it's like at the end to like
it,
have a stinger. It's not really like set up or anything. Like
it was a mistake to shoot
put him
that
in the
like
trailer.
they did in the
Yeah,
trailer because
yeah,
that is straight from the trailer and it is the money shot of all money shots of like the big throwdown is about to
yeah,
happen. They're like, cut. It's like,
yeah.
but it's supposed to be the bookend, but it looks so picturesque. So they're like, there you go. Here's like
Yeah,
Spider-Man's gonna kick Rhino's ass, and it, like because of that,
yeah.
people thought he might have a bigger
Yeah, no, I
role.
blame the trailers for
I
sure. I don't think it's a thing in the movie. Like Rhino isn't like a villain. He's not part
but
of the
even
movie.
but even still, I'm sure you'll disagree, but one of the just general criticisms I have is condensing the villains. Like Harry Osborn is
hmm
the villain of this movie. He's
Yeah,
what it's mostly about, and I do not
he's
think
the
you
driving
needed
force of the
Electro
plot.
in part. There's maybe some sort of a companion. It happens all the time in the comics, like team ups with other villains. It's a thing, but it is kind of. I mean, I did laugh that he just kind of he barely needs him. He gets him into the building, like they show security, and then he kills the guy from the Penguin, and then he's like, "Yeah, the grid's all yours. I'm just gonna walk down to the vault with a gun to this guy's back and hope he doesn't pull the fire alarm." I'm like, oh, okay, that team up didn't really last long. And then he shows up late for the party in the third act when he could have helped. Like he shows up right when they win, which is interesting timing. It that's my problem with the villains, and there being three of them. Is Rhino's barely in it, but all three of them have like distinct roles and distinct stories in TASM 2 that make it feel Harry's the through line who drives most of the plot, but
Yeah.
they kind of take away from that in terms of like character and material you could have had otherwise.
Um, I I don't know. I don't think I agree. I
Well,
think
I mean,
I think
what do you want
it's
to start with these?
I don't know. We can just ramble. We don't need to like do like a fucking
Fair enough.
structured
I mean, yeah, I
conversation.
don't.
uh,
Where are you going there? Yeah.
Yeah, just like I like Max as a character. I think he's interesting. I think the idea of someone getting like this
Why?
parasocial relationship with
I mean,
Spider-Man is interesting.
you have to understand. Like, I watched this movie, and I I don't under like I have no idea what they were going for. Is it supposed to be funny? Is it supposed to be tragic? Is it supposed to be like a little eerie and off-putting? Whatever it is, balding, like hairline attempting to save it, tooth gap, glasses, eccentric, talking to himself, jitters, it's my birthday. I don't like it's just embarrassing to me. I'm like I don't it whatever they were going for, I cringe in like all of his scenes because he acts so strange. Like, what do you like about Electro? Like, what do you think is good about him?
I find it so weird that like that's like a common criticism of people saying like Electro's cringe, which is not like to like dismiss you, but it's
I
just
mean,
like it's so weird to
you
me because like
you have to get what I'm talking
no,
about
he
though.
is
That it's like
cringe, but it's
really
like it's the
goofy and
point.
like
It's the point. Like he is supposed to be
well,
goofy and off-putting because of like just a very simple like neurodivergent othering of everyone like ignoring him and him being invisible. And then when he gets like his power, he becomes like hungry for more because it shows that he is more important than like people have made him out to be. It's like a very simple character like story, like
that
villain
gives him an
story.
image boost. And I
Yeah.
get maybe the point was they didn't want him to come across as a creeper. They wanted him to come across as like
They just wanted him to
awkward
look
and
like
out
to
of
be a
place.
dork, not be a creep. He is a
But
dork. He doesn't
again,
do anything
but it
wrong before he becomes Electro.
well again though, all the aesthetic details, I wish they just cut that out and like Jamie Foxx was normal and they didn't give him the weird wig and glasses and the tooth gap which gets repaired by like it's I don't know. I feel like you could have taken it more seriously. That's why no one gives the character a chance because it's just so goofy in terms of execution and aesthetics that people are just like, this is a non-character that's like just cringy to watch. And
I find
it's
that
the same
way of
problem.
engaging with movies so weird though. To just be like this character's cringy, therefore I'm not gonna take him seriously. Like this like silly like over the top like caricatures that you get into their depth by like having them go
Well,
through something traumatic. Like that's interesting to me. I find it weird. I don't know. Like I like when like we see a caricature and
I
then we
mean,
delve into their character.
well, I mentioned Batman and Robin to you, and it does feel like kind of a like nipple plates, like nipples on the armor on like Batman's armor, where it's just like that's silly.
Yeah,
And it's like,
but Max
what
is
if the
not.
character was really good? It's like it's hard to take it seriously when there are nipples on the Batman armor, and it's just there's a lot of choices like that, especially with Max, that I think are just hard to choke down for the average Joe, and are
I don't
strange
know.
choices to make on their part.
I just
It's
genuinely
weird.
don't think that's an issue for me at all. I just genuinely the way you're saying it is just like it doesn't cross my mind when I'm watching it to just be like, wow, he's so silly that I can't take him seriously. Like I don't know, I've met people like that, like that are that
Well,
weird and that
yeah.
darky, and it's just like going through his life and he kind of hates that he doesn't have any friends. It's like it feels very normal. I mean, I relate to some of his struggles, like just neurodivergently, but
Well,
it's just like I don't know, man. I don't think it's that kind of like super like oh you can't take him seriously at all. He's too silly. Like I mean I don't know. Maybe I just see movies differently than like the average like viewer, but it's just not something that crosses my mind.
it's fair enough. I feel like you could have had more of a connection between Max and him in that regard too, because that was something that I was like laughing at watching the original movie. They actually don't take as much of an approach like that in the second movie, but Peter is kind of a loner in the
Yeah.
first movie. He doesn't
I
really have many
wish
friends.
they,
He kind of
yeah,
sticks
that
to
is one of the
himself
things I
and
was thinking with the second one that I wish they focus on more because after he breaks up with
well,
Gwen, his only friend is Harry, and even then, like their
yeah,
relationship is a little strained and weird, obviously because they've been apart for 8 years. So I wish they kind of delved more into like
yeah.
how alone. I mean, obviously, a big part of the movie is how alone he feels. Like his parents left, his uncle died. He had to leave Gwen, and now Harry's dying. So he feels like the world, like he's just been losing everything in his life. It is part of that, but I wish like just the aspect of him like wanting friends was shown. I think that could have been interesting.
Yeah, honestly, something for me. I've mentioned that I'm not the biggest fan of proposing rewrites, but like the Bourne Identity, like opening with like the fucking plane crash and the assassin like slitting the fucking pilot's throat and all that. I'm like,
That seems not
do you think
necessary.
maybe it would have been better served had they opened the same way they did in the original movie, where he's hanging out with his friend, and this time they show him with Harry, like just a little something to lay it out, because it does kind of come out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, I left. It's like, and we were friends, we were kids, but we didn't see any of that. And it's like, well, it's kind of awkward even for them because like so much has changed and they're trying to catch up. But
I mean,
there's
I
only
don't
really
think
like
that's
one
like
scene
I
they
don't think that's
hang
even
out.
like the issue. I mean, I don't think that opening scene is like necessary of like the assassin killing the Parkers. I think you could just like genuinely cut that scene out, and I think the film works just as
I
well.
mean, that opening shot, like I think you could have just
The
started right there. The
Yeah,
play, like when he is falling, it's kind of funny how high he is in the air, but like whatever.
he got
That
momentum. Like it's Spider-Man. He's having fun swinging. Like come on.
yeah,
Like I've
way to
heard that
draw you
criticism.
in. That's a hell of a like moment to
Yeah,
open on. Like that would have been a like just get right into it with
yeah,
Spider-Man. I'm like Spider-Man 2. I'm like that this works. Just web slinging, crime fighting. There
yeah.
you go.
I
So
think it
yeah.
would have been. I think it would have been obviously they wanted to open on like Richard's watch because they want to make a big point about time in this film, which the film
Well,
is very overt
oh
about,
my
not
god, you're
subtle at all.
right. That literally is a thing, like time running out in the clock. That is
Yeah,
the opening shot. That little, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
Well,
one of the things he says in this video is like, I always thought I'd have more, and then he stops for a second.
one more
Time.
time. It's like, oh, it's every
Yeah, so
time. Yeah.
the big theme of this movie
I
is
do.
time, and obviously they wanted to
What?
open on his watch to like show that like just they're always running out of time, and I think it ties back in with that theme well. That opening scene, it's just if you cut it out, I don't think you lose anything, like in terms of like
No.
character stuff
Other
or
than
plot.
him, well, he does send the like information to Roosevelt, and that's what Peter watches
Well,
later.
yeah, but
Which,
it's
by the
like you could
way,
just like
I
infer that he sent it at some point while he was leaving.
it,
Like
it
it doesn't necessarily need to be shown.
exactly.
So
Or he left it behind. Well, genuinely, I think that the plot would have been a little stronger had he intentionally left that for Peter, or like maybe May or Ben. Like he could have like had an actual clue that led them to that like hideout, because it's like this whole elaborate thing. But by the way, just a nitpick, I find it really hilarious that they're like sending this video file, and it's like the early 2000s, and while the plane is crashing, they somehow upload it to like the satellite. It's like, how did you pull
well,
that off
they
in the
had
2000s? Like,
I don't know. They had to be fair, I don't think it's like early 2000s, is it? Because like Peter's like 18. They left when he
well,
was like 11.
yeah, it probably would have been like 2000, right? Like the
No,
2000 or 2002 or so,
no.
or
Because the movie is set like the first movie is set in 2012, and Peter's
2012. Yeah.
17. His parents left when he was like 11, so it was like 6 years before. So it would have been what 2006.
2000. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still like you
Yeah, I
remember
don't know.
computers like
I
videos like
don't know.
those.
Like in terms of like internet connection in
It's
airplanes, how it worked back in the 2000s. I can kind of forgive it. It's like it's a superhero movie. They
yeah.
can have
It
internet in the fucking airplane if they can like create all these cross
yeah.
species genetics. Like bullshit. It's sci-fi.
Yeah, and it's a whole thing where they're like, they have Oscorp technology. I mean, well, the
Yeah.
computer is literally out of date. It's not a computer from '06. It's just a nitpick. I find it funny. That whole scene though. Let's talk about Richard Parker and
Okay.
and just Peter Parker's parents as an element of these two movies,
Uh huh.
because this actually ties a little bit into the first movie, honestly, where part of my frustration with the first movie, because I prefer it to TASM 2, but so much of this movie feels like it's trying to avoid being similar to Raimi's movie, even though it's also an origin story. Like they have like web shooters that are non-organic that he has to like make because everyone is like, why does he have that?
I,
That's not what it is in the comics. Like, okay, we're not doing that this time. This time he has web shooters, and the circumstances for which Ben dies are different. The circumstances that he gets like bitten by the spider are different. There's all these differences that they just add just cuz.
I don't.
And
I
I
wouldn't
feel
agree
like
that
his
the
parents
change
are,
with Uncle Ben's death is like just cuz. I think it ties in thematically a lot. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's not.
well,
I mean, not. No, it's basically the same. Like they have the same arc in that movie of like the letting go of arrogance and hunting down Uncle Ben's killer. So yeah,
well,
I don't know. It's just like I guess to make he, it's just like they wouldn't make him like fight in a fucking whatever the fucking dressed up shit like
yeah,
fucking
it's
wrestling thing.
but I mean that is his origin, and they reference it when he like falls into like the
Yeah,
boxing pit or whatever. But that is how it is in the. What I like about the comics, and Raimi does this one for one, is it's like he's right there, guys running down the hall, cops behind him. It's like stop that guy, like he's got the money, and he just lets him go. And like why it the movie makes it so he got ripped off. That isn't really what happened in the comics. In the comics, he's just kind of like going about his day. He sees like oh whatever, and he just doesn't care. And it's that he says like all you had to do is trip him or like hold him in place for a second, and he just chose not to, and it gets Ben killed. My thing in TASM 2 is it's like, hey, a little
doesn't
help of like, yeah, I'll help you chase down this guy that might knife me. I'm like, I no thanks, buddy. I'm like genuinely, it isn't quite the issue. And then Ben just kind of happens to be there. He's following Peter, of course, but it's just and I'm not it's not like it shouldn't have been like the exact same as the comics,
yeah,
but I I find a lot of the changes frustrating in comparison to Raimi because
sure.
Raimi did just in large part go like one for the comics, and I don't know. Some of the changes work fairly well, but others are a little more weird. So
Sure. I mean, I don't mind the changes. I think I don't know. I think I really and obviously, you said that because of his parents. It is interesting because his parents are a
yeah, yeah.
much bigger part of these movies than they obviously are in Are they ever mentioned
Well,
in the Raimi movies? I don't think so, right?
I don't I don't think so. I haven't really read comics where Peter's parents are a thing. Like
Mm,
I know they like had that arc in like the 2000s. I think there's like an arc with like the chameleon or something, and it Peter's parents are usually just dead or gone. Uncle Ben and Aunt May are the ones who raised him, but they like come back, and that's the whole thing. They're like agents or whatever. They're like their deaths were hidden or something like that because they were like undercover, I think. And I'm not gonna lie, I think most comic fans are not a fan of that idea of like Peter's parents still being alive. It's weird for that to be and low key. I don't know what their plans were for TASM 3, but I wouldn't have been surprised if they were still alive
no,
somehow.
his
I
mom was
Who
dead. There
knows?
was a deleted scene with the father. Have you ever seen that? Everyone loves that scene.
I
Richard
probably
Parker.
well, there's a lot
Richard
of
Parker
good deleted
talks.
scenes in these movies that
Well,
unfortunately got cut out. They shouldn't have
no,
cut out that scene with Kurt's son. It's really good,
yeah.
and yeah.
Well, I think it's I don't know. I think the scenes they cut out, they'll make a lot of sense why they cut them out. Um, but anyway, the scene in TASM 2 is just Richard finds Peter at Gwen's grave and they talk. It's a very heartfelt scene. But
Oh yes, I
yeah.
have seen. So yeah, he is alive. I knew it.
Well, he isn't. That's the thing. Marc Webb and everyone in the director's commentary, they were talking about it. They were like, we shot that scene and it was beautiful and everyone loved it, but it was too big a pill to swallow to think like, okay, Richard Parker is alive and he just hid himself from Peter all these years. Like, why would he do that when all he wanted was to, love his son? Like, it was too hard to buy that for his character. Hence why they cut the scene, which is why I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
he might be canonically that. I mean, we'll never know because we never got like confirmation in canon because deleted scenes aren't canon. But I like the idea of like that scene existing,
Well,
but it like not knowing that like not thinking that he's alive. I prefer to think he's dead. I think it works better for the story.
like I said, TASM 3 is more like what I'm going for. Like I figure that they would have kept his parents as like a story motivation for him, and that would have been like something
Not
that motivated
sure.
Peter as a character. You never know.
I'm not sure because
I,
like thematically he kind of moves on from his parents in TASM 2. It's kind of like the entire point, like right of the thing that Aunt May says of like putting things in a box and just like moving on from them.
Yeah, and obviously that the whole revelation with the spiders. So my thing, this also ties into the like Sinister Six setups. There's a lot of like mysteriousness with like they say that like your father was a very secretive man. It's like all the research into like Norman Osborn and like, you know, why he's dying, and it's just they're all like, oh, what's going on with his parents and what that's all about. And it's like, so apparently they were going to sell like biological weapons to some like foreign military.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, now they're hunting me down. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, why didn't you just go to the FBI then? Like, why
Wait.
run and why upload it to like
He
your
literally just said they
train
tried
rat lair?
to. He said they tried to falsify evidence against him. If
Well,
they
yeah.
have evidence against him, if he goes to the FBI, it's not gonna matter.
Well, it depends on what he has on them, and it seems
Well,
well. For one, he was directly involved. There's a lot that could, you know, Oscorp will do everything they can, and they'll have great lawyers. It'd be a thing, but going public with something like otherwise, like he said, they're on the run forever, and Oscorp's going to keep going without you, even though he has like the spiders to like, you know, he changed his DNA, but I don't even know how hard that would be to figure out, like that he incorporated human DNA into it of like, and it's specific to him. I don't know. It's just one of those things that they keep like the details of like what was going on with Peter's parents like hidden until that scene with the train, and I find it weird that they just kind of run and die and
bro,
like
they weren't expecting to
it,
die. They were expecting to
well, they were
run and then
expecting to.
being able to like reassess and away from Oscorp, like hide from Oscorp while they try to regain his research and everything.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, then Snowden it, right? Like, go to journalists and like try to like, you know, expose it in the press. Like, if
Again, it's the kind
you
of
don't
thing
think you
where
can go
like
to the authorities, like,
he wanted to do. It's part of why he recorded the video. Like part of the video is saying like I want the world to know the truth, but that video never made it out of Roosevelt because he was never able to tell anyone of where the video was because he died. Like everything happened very fast. He
was he
didn't even
planning to?
plan. Richard didn't plan many things. Like he destroyed the evidence and like a day later he was killed.
Hmm, yeah, that's my thing. Is it just I feel like the cards could have been played smarter on their end and potentially saved their lives, but, or if nothing else,
I mean, sure.
like I don't know what you could have done with that video, but it's kind of weird that they just send it to Roosevelt. I'm like, could you have sent it to? I
I
I don't
think the
know. I
plan
don't
was
know.
to
And
send it
and May think that they're
to
traitors anyway.
yeah, I mean, I think the plan was to send it to, but yeah, I mean, even the fucking yeah, it's FBI agents that show up later saying that he was a traitor.
Well, probably not real FBI agents.
I mean,
Again, another
probably are.
thing.
Like Norm is a
Like,
fucking billionaire. He can easily like get his fingers into that.
well, I mean, that's my frustration. There's a lot of stories that do this. It's like Oscorp exists, and it's like how did they do that? I'm like, they're Oscorp. They have resources.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of how it
Like
works in the real
everyone
world,
has
though.
resources, and I find it boring when they're just like, yeah, the FBI's bent because they have a lot of money.
Evan, I'm
I'm
sorry,
like,
but it's
how
like
did
it's how the real world works. Like,
Yeah, but you can explore that. Well, you can't if your movie's 2 hours and 20 minutes long. You've got a bunch of villains, and this is so. I don't know. They're not that big of a part, and it's not about them. If it were, then they would be like intrinsic to the narrative. They're more so something to motivate Peter, make him question like what they were up to and why they left him. And you know, the scene in the train's meant to kind of be the conclusion of that, where he
yeah, it's the conclusion of
realizes that
his
they weren't
arc. Yeah.
traitors and that they were like trying to protect him, I guess, and that they loved him. I they don't like add too much. They're like more focused on in the second movie, but I find it strange that there's such a focus on them, especially when Ben is like the actual father figure to Peter. He even says like you're a really good dad. And that's
That's
why I
one of the
don't care about
criticisms that
his
I.
parent.
That's part of the criticisms that I don't like. People saying that like the presence of his parents like undermines Aunt May and Uncle Ben being his parents, because
Nah.
Peter is very much allowed to care about his biological parents, even if he was raised by Aunt May and Uncle Ben. And they make a very big point of like showing that he is their kid. Like in the first movie, they have like your pretty great dad,
Yeah.
and they have the fucking "you're my boy" like the scene in TASM 2, which fucking phenomenal acting by the way, bro. Aunt May's actress,
Yeah.
what's her name?
Sally Field.
Sally Fields,
Sally
yes.
Field, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good. Really good stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's just because I've heard that criticism. It's what I was talking to you about before we started recording. I've heard every criticism under the sun for this movie. My brain is just a mess of just a big soup of bad, frustrating TASM criticisms. Um, but yeah, I
People
don't
are
know.
definitely for all the criticisms I have with it, people are definitely reductive with it. Like
Yeah.
I said, the whole like nipples on Batman's armor thing, I feel like people just are like, this is silly, or this looks weird, or this is like overblown. And I'm like, you got to do better than that. Like, because there is a lot that this movie is trying to do. I think
Hmm.
that like the second movie like makes more of a point of being like thematic and
Yeah.
having like you said, the whole Spider-Man inspiring people thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
It's
I love that scene at the end. The kid, he's like, "Hey, Spider Man." Ah, my heart. The music
that's a
is so
really
fucking good.
good. I find the kid. It's really it's so funny because like there's a cop that like stops his mom from jumping the fence, and then there's a cop that's like on the kid's
Running
ass,
after him, but then he
but then
stops.
he
Yeah.
just disappears, and it's like
I
what
mean,
I don't know.
it's obviously he stops once he gets in the line of fire. We just don't see that because it's off screen.
What? A cop? I think most cops would get in the line of fire for a fucking kid. One even tries, and it just
I
I
mean,
don't know
I
what the
don't
kid's
think
doing.
so.
It's
I
the
mean,
for the themes where it's like, he's standing up to the bully, even though he's like just a little kid. But I love
yeah.
that shot where you hear the web slinging in the background, and then you see everyone reacting, and he turns, and then
Hey,
he's
Spider Man.
right behind us. So
Yeah,
cool.
so good.
And I do like that there's a lot more of that because, probably my favorite scene in the original TASM is the bridge with
Saving the
which they
kid,
connect
right?
that with cranes. Yeah. And that's exactly that. I love that the kid's scared and then he takes off the mask. He's like, I'm just a regular guy.
Yeah,
And
and then he
he
gives
like
him
he
the
has him wear
mask,
the
like
mask.
it's gonna
Yeah.
give him, it's gonna make you strong.
Make you strong. Oh,
It's
it's
so good. That
awesome.
scene is fucking amazing. And Andrew Garfield, I love that scene so
Yeah.
much.
I dig that there's a lot more of like Peter like saving people and just being
Uh huh.
Spider-Man. I mean, even the earlier scene, like it's actually awesome. Like there's just but I find it hilarious that there's like these 8 bullies like beating this little kid up, like destroying his little
Yeah.
project, and then Spider-Man just steps down. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's totally the type of thing Spider-Man would
Yeah.
do to
Just
a bunch
helping a
of
kid being
bullies. It's
bullied.
like,
Like, yeah.
guys, what the hell? It's
Oh, it's
awesome.
great.
I
And he like super excited about a science project. Like, is that a fucking windmill? It's great. Oh, I love
yeah.
that scene so much. I love this
I
characterization of Spider-Man so much.
well, honestly, I wonder with a lot of this movie because I was mentioning the like reactions to Raimi and like trying to
Hmm.
not be like it. I get the feeling a lot of this movie might have been like the different the costume, and
Oh yeah, I
just in
that
general.
is something
I
they
th-
actually confirmed in the commentary for TASM 2 is they changed the suit so much from TASM 1 because of the backlash from TASM 1 because people didn't
well,
like that suit, which is insane by the way. I love the TASM 1 suit.
I do too. I've always found it weird that people hate it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think it's fine. I think people don't like the texture being
Yeah.
almost like basketball, like it's
Yeah.
all
That is what people
like
say, yeah.
hexic.
And it looks like
I
kind of like glossy, like in a like
Yeah,
oily,
a
I don't
little
know.
over designed, maybe
Yeah.
like a little like
Well,
too
the thing,
detailed and
yeah,
thick.
I think the thing with TASM One is they wanted to make a suit that an average teenager would be able to make, and they actually, they made it, the suit with that in mind. Which is funny when you compare like the suit that they made for Spider-Man in Raimi's Spider-Man One, that cost like
Yeah,
two
I've
hundred thousand dollars. It's like, yeah, very
even
different ideas for suit. Not saying the Raimi
even
one is
when
bad, by the way, but yeah,
well, I mean, even when I was a kid, that bothered me. I'm like, how do you make that shit? It's like
yeah,
got like all these elevated lines and all this insane detail. Like,
yeah.
you made that?
But the crazy
I don't-
thing for me,
it's It's always a thing with same with
Yeah.
his web shooters. Like, well, how the fuck do you make that in the comics? Like, I don't know. He just did.
He's
Okay,
just
okay. It's like
smart.
whatever.
It's
Smart,
fine.
thought it, like looked it up on the internet. It's like who
Yeah,
cares?
he figured it out. He's smart. It's fine. But then they followed up like the TASM one suit with the TASM two suit, which is just perfect. Like it is the
Yeah.
suit, the Spider-Man suit.
Well, the new one from that they've been showing
A
for
brand new
the
day.
new Tom
It looks
Holland, I
it looks like they're trying to copy the TASM two suit. It's so funny.
it does. Well, assuming that they don't like heighten all the get rid of all the wrinkles with CGI, which they
Yeah,
probably are going to do, unfortunately. But it does look good. But I would say the TASM 2 suit is probably like the most comic accurate, the most like Spider-Man. But one of the things with the suit in the new movie as well, the second movie just looks better. It's way more
it
colorful
does.
and
Well, they
visually
tried to go for
appealing.
like this gritty
The
thing with the first one, which is fucking response to the Dark Knight.
yeah, exactly.
And then TASM 2 is just
2012.
like, nah, man, let's add some color. Let's have fun. It was so fun. I love, because like,
Yeah,
I like the way TASM 1 looks, but TASM 2 just looks so good. Genuinely.
yeah. They went far bolder with the colors and how it looks, and it's so funny. I was mentioning that to you just on a basic level as well. There's so much more detail to scenes like for instance, like the funeral where like Peter's just sitting there and like they have it's clearly he's just visiting on multiple different days, but they just treat it like he's just stayed in this graveyard for like the better part of a year. And I remember there's a shot with snow where I was you see snow in front of him and I'm like it's in front of him because they couldn't get snow on the ground and there, and then no, they show it later. I'm like, well, color me surprised. I'm like, they went through the trouble of putting fake snow around there, or like maybe they waited, I don't know, but one way or another they went through the bother of having that practical and
Yep.
having snow actually on the set and there. And it's one of those things. I
Well, it's funny
showed you
because you compared
the
it to,
funeral
yeah.
from no,
No Way
oh
Home is
my
so
god.
funny. That
I
shot is so bad. The backlighting, it's great.
I don't know. I mean, clearly, like you could have had on-set doubles for the coverage where they're actually in the cemetery, but I don't. I think that's green screen.
Oh
I
no,
don't
yeah,
think
for
they're
sure.
there.
It
And
looks
it's
like green screen, yeah.
one way or another, it looks so bad and so fake. And it's like this is supposed to be like the gut punch where it's like May's dead, and it's like spoilers for No Way Home, haha. But like they're it's ruined by just how ugly and like unnatural everything looks and how it just the environment is distracting. And I you don't get those kinds of things with TASM 2. We were genuinely spoiled back when we were saying
Yeah.
that this movie was dog shit because it is so much more aesthetically pleasing to
Yeah.
look at than the average movie
I mean,
nowadays.
it's insane that third act of him fighting Electro. It genuinely blows me away every time I watch it because that CGI just it's insane how good it looks. Like the
Yeah, well, and all
fucking
the
electricity and Spider-Man swinging in the slow-mo and like forming Electro's body, like everything it just looks so good.
well, yeah, there's a I'm watching it right now. There's a shot. It's the his face of the building. It's kind of
I
goofy, but
love
like
that shot because
there's
it's
so
just like, oh, it's just so goofy. Like
you
showing his face in the building, and that is
see.
so fucking like comic book. Like, yes, his face on the side of the building, and he just flies up, and he's in front of the building. Spider Man. It just looks so good. And then the swinging after him, like the fucking electricity where Peter tries to swing after him, and he's climbing his own like web. It just looks so fucking phenomenal. I can't believe
Yeah.
how good that movie
I
looked. Genuinely.
Well, have you played the 2018 Spider-Man
I
game
have,
on
yeah.
the PS5?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the web slinging in terms of the feel, like you have the like him listening to like 911 calls in like his ear and like, responding, and it's like, all right, we got to chase. It's like I feel like a lot of the web slinging in that game was inspired by these movies more than any other. And I feel like I honestly don't think anyone has quite gotten web slinging right. There's been scenes that have been really in where you'd be with that, but I feel like you could shoot web slinging scenes like even better than they've been shot because like it's exciting as all hell. The idea of just swinging through a city and you can't fly, but you just have like webs that could just tether you to any building and you can fly all around. It's awesome. This is the best that I've seen web slinging for sure. And
Yeah,
TASM 2 specifically, because they, even though the first movie had some pretty cool scenes, the second movie, like looking better, just helps a lot.
yeah. The swinging is very, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. We went on like 10 different tangents. Bottom line is, I
Mostly
really like.
positive.
Yeah, mostly positive. You know, we went from your criticisms, we ended up talking positively. I really like these movies. Um, I did think though, and I don't know if you're gonna agree, because obviously you said the second movie's bloated, but I thought the first film, the pacing was a little weird upon this rewatch.
Yes.
It kind of feels like
Well,
it drags in the second act.
yeah, and the editing, the deleted scenes are something that ties into that, unfortunately, where I feel like a lot of material was kind of cut or altered. But an interesting example of this movie being like paced and structured weirdly is before Ben gets killed, when he like fights at school and then he's like, you have to pick up Aunt May later. And then he talks to Gwen and then he goes to like a warehouse and skateboards in a montage. And then all of a sudden he's back at Oscorp. And it's like, this is the same day. And it's like, you did all of this and solved the whole mouse thing. And then he gets back and it's like, it was the same night. And the editing gets like weird, and
I don't
some of
know.
the movie, I don't
I
know
mean,
like
I
what you're
didn't.
going more for,
I
but
don't
I
know.
feel
I didn't
like a
notice
lot of it's kind
that.
of rushed in it, not all scenes have that. It's like it just some scenes in terms of like
Uh,
timekeeping feel a little bizarre. I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't. That scene. I don't know. That montage and everything. I thought it was fine. It's like, yeah, it's a day. Like he goes
I
out
feel
and
like that's a lot to
skateboards.
squeeze in. You gotta like head out and then you gotta get back to Oscorp. I guess who knows how late he was, like
I mean, I
probably
think
a
the point
couple
was that he had
hours.
spent
I
like hours working with Connors, and that's why he was late. Like he gets the call while he's working with Connors, and then he gets home and then Uncle Ben is upset. It is a lot of things that happened that day, to be fair, but it's kind of the point to be like this, like Peter's like rock bottom, I guess.
Mhm.
I
What
don't
were
know.
you going more for in terms of
Well, I
like
was thinking it was
weird?
kind of like dragging like the second act of the first movie. It was like they had like they didn't have need to have like so many scenes of Connors being like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna become the lizard." Like, injecting himself with the thing. They have like three scenes of that. They could have just made him like directly the lizard and him attacking the school and everything like straight away. Because otherwise it feels like kind of like, oh, okay, we're doing this. Like obviously they need a reason for him to know that it's Peter, that is like that is Spider-Man that is hunting him. They could have done that
Well,
like more efficiently, I guess. I thought it was just like, I don't know. When I was done with the movie, I was like, damn, that felt long. But when I was done with Phasm 2, it was like that flew by. It was weird.
I think one of the reasons actually is the origin story element. And we've talked about this, how like
Mm,
everyone is like so desperate to like stay away from the origin story now. Everyone's like,
yeah.
no more origin stories. Enough of like Uncle Ben getting shot. Of like just start as is. But it's like it is 40, yeah, it's 45 minutes
Yeah.
before Ben is dead. How long is it in the first movie till he's dead?
I don't know. Let me see if I have the movie here, because I don't know how long it is.
Hold on, I jacked up my it is oh, actually relatively similar.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he's dead at 45 minutes.
that's funny.
It's well, this is a thing for me with origin stories in general as well. That's just a frustration. This isn't like specific to these movies, it's specific to superhero movies, but origin stories don't make a good first act
Well, they
because
should
origin
make
stories are
a
a
good first movie, not a first act.
yeah, there are good. The origin stories are like Spider-Man, the arc, the first issue where Ben gets shot and he becomes Spider-Man at the ending. That is like a full beginning, middle, and end story,
Yeah,
and having it so that that is the end of the first act, and then like the
yeah,
rest of it follows. It's like it's always a little like weird for one
yeah.
because
Because
you'll
it
you'll
feels a
always
little
associate it
bit
with
like a lot of stuff that it's trying to set up like before for like the rest of the plot afterwards, and there's like the whole fucking like distraction of Peter going after Uncle Ben's killer, like all of that. Like it's
Yeah.
just like it's a lot, and it feels like it's trying to do two movies in one. So yeah, I agree. That is like part of my issue with the pacing. I think it's just like the classic origin story thing, where it's just
Lots.
like the first act is the origin story, even though the origin story should be its own film. But it's also like you're not gonna make a film that is just the origin story, right? Um, because people are not gonna
Exactly.
pay to see that, like just the origin story, because then we only get into like the good stuff with the second film, which is why people have the
Yeah.
filmmakers have
Well,
started to just skip outright the origin story and just get into the fun stuff. They did that with Fantastic
well,
Four. They did that with fucking Batman,
Superman.
Superman.
Every yeah, Batman and Superman, the newest like lineup for
Yeah,
superhero movies, or everyone seems to be doing like year 2 or 3.
yeah,
They've been like couple of years, just a couple of years, still really green, but no need to give them the origin story. And it's
yeah,
the right approach. It's just like you can get right into it and like have an arc for the character because Batman has a very clear like beginning, middle, and end in the Batman, and he changes like significantly, even though
yeah.
he's already Batman, rather than have him like switch part of the way through. I don't know. It's always beneficial in the sequel when you don't have to do the origin, and that's why I think that
Yeah.
TASM 2 flies by largely because they just get right into it.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of the thing that I think just in general, I usually like sequels to superhero movies more than the first one. It's just like it feels like you're already like accustomed to the vibe. You're like, okay, there's nothing to introduce. Let's just have fun now. Like I think Iron Man 1 is a better movie than Iron Man 2, but I think I just have more
Yeah.
fun with Iron Man 2. It's just like, oh, let's get right into it, you know? Like Iron Man's already fucking everything up. He's already like thinking he's about to die. Like we're not doing like, oh, he needs to become Iron Man, which is the first step. So I don't know. It's just a thing I think with superhero movies, and I'm glad that we're kind of moving away from the origin story in that way. Which is not to say that it's bad in 2001. It's just that it kind of hurts the pacing a little. Which is like the big thing that I noticed when I was watching the movie. Like the one criticism that I had was like, oof, that's the pacing feels off. Like it feels like the movie should be over already, and there's like 40 minutes left still. That's kind of how I felt when I was watching it, which did not feel that way
Yeah.
at all with the second one, which is impressive because it's longer. So
Yeah. Want to talk about the music some because on TASM 2, they switched. I know Hans Zimmer and like Pharrell did it. I don't know if there
on
was anyone
Zimmer and the
else involved,
Magnificent
but
Six, is what they're called. Yeah.
Magnificent Six. Okay. But the James Horner did the music in the original, and honestly, I think that's like the peakest of soundtracks and it's the peakest
Oh,
of
really?
themes. I love
Okay.
the
Yeah. The
Spider-Man
theme.
theme in these movies, but
I agree that
I
the theme in the first one is really good, but I like the soundtrack in two better.
I feel like it blends more. Like the third act with Gwen, it's just the whole dun 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 dun. Dun. Like it just feels more generic rather than
I
hitting
really
memorable
don't think
beats
it's
or
generic
using
at
unique
all.
instruments.
I really don't. It feels like this eerie,
I have to.
like it feels very, like, I don't know. It feels this very eerie. It feels like
Well,
the Green Goblin should feel to me. I guess in my mind, it just feels like this,
eh,
like this eerie presence of like doom that is approaching. I don't know. I really like it. I really don't think it's like, generic at all.
I have to like pull examples to illustrate it. I mean, for Max, for instance, like his theme is like clearly like has a lot of like reverb type instruments and
Yeah,
like electric instruments. It reminded me a little bit of Magneto on this watch, like where
hmm,
the Newton brothers wanted to use electric and metallic instruments for his character, like to
yeah,
tie his music to his character. They did the same thing.
yeah. And I think
I still
Max
am not
his
a
soundtrack, his theme, I think is the best. So I just
my
fucking love all of
enemy.
it.
I cannot stand he hates me. He shot again, nipples on armor, but it's really silly to listen to. I can't meet the movie where it is, and I find it
I mean, fair enough.
strange. I guess it gets you in his head, but I don't know. The actual like song, the actual like cues, I think are like better, but
Sure. I mean, fair enough. I disagree, but fair enough. It doesn't bother me. I like it. I think it's fun, and I think having a character who has like these very clear mental issues getting into his head of like his thought process, especially it's so funny because everyone misinterprets that scene. They think that he's mad at at Spider-Man because he forgot his name. When the lyrics of the song quite literally
No,
says he lied
he
to me, he
hates
shot
me.
at
He
me,
shot at me.
he hates
Yeah.
on me. Uh, so
Well,
it's like just pay attention to
my
the fucking
thing,
lyrics that you say are so stupid. Uh,
yeah, I know that that's not why that is, and he even like Peter even beats himself up for not remembering his name and like tries to spin it. And I do love that in the actual scene he's trying to de-escalate things
mm.
for the entirety of it. But like the TVs switching, that's another thing that I always found goofy because that is actually something he's like, they're looking at him now. It's like, what? Look at me. And it's like, I again ties into the character. The character is like insecure and a loner and is like gets drunk when the attention like is on him. So yeah, it's a thing. I like I said with the music though, I'd have to like pull more examples. Is there other music in two that stands out to you though beyond like Max's theme? Because
I
I'm
love the
what I'm
Spider-Man theme as well.
yeah. I mean, well,
Ba,
in general, like
ba,
the theme.
ba, 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 ba. Because it's different
It's
from the first one, yeah. In the No Way Home, they used only the
yeah,
TASM
yeah,
one
yeah.
the TASM one theme, which was fine. I mean, they used the TASM two
I
like
per-
electro like motif for like half a second when Electro shows up in No Way Home. But that's it. Sorry, I don't know how this conversation became about No Way
wait.
Home, but yeah, I don't like the way No Way Home
Well,
talks about
it,
the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I think it's stupid. Even though I think Peter is the best one in that film, but yeah.
well, what do you think about? That's actually a funny thing to think about. You like Max in this movie. What do you think about Jamie Foxx being a sex god and them changing everything about how he
Well,
looks and
so okay,
seemingly everything about him?
so
Even though
his
I guess it's
character,
Chasm.
like, so the thing is, in No Way Home, he is in character in the sense of like his motivations, his wants, everything is what he wants in TASM 2. It is consistent with his character. I like that. I like, him thinking that Spider-Man, like, that's, like, I thought you'd be black. Oh, I'm sorry. But, like, he loved, like, someone who would fight for the little guy that, Spider-Man would understand that. I love that. I love all that. I love that interaction. But he his personality is completely out of character in that film. So I
Yeah,
think
the way
like
he talks, the way he
yeah,
looks, it just it's
which
completely different.
which was obviously just because they knew everyone hated TASM 2 and Electro
Oh,
especially. They were just like, let's not do that again. They're just basically apologizing for that movie, which I find embarrassing. Like, if you're gonna like try
well,
to have nostalgia for a fucking movie, that then don't fucking apologize for it existing. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
just stupid.
especially when the lizard and Doc Ock are like literally exactly the same. It's like what's going on there? I'm blown away that they even included him. It was probably more so for like the aesthetics, like the like inverted Spider-Man suit to have him like fight with electricity because to this movie's credit, it is an interesting like way
Yeah.
to facilitate the third act, but
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's so weird in
so
that
like
movie.
Max is like, he's weird because I don't think he's out of character just from like a basic like character writing standpoint, but from like a performance, vibe standpoint, he's completely different, and it feels like apologizing for 2002. So that I don't know, it frustrates me. It also frustrates me like the way Connors is in No Way Home, because like there's literally no point for him being there, and it would make like 100
Yeah,
times
he
more sense to have Dane DeHaan's Harry in there as a character to be a foil to Peter, to talk
well,
about like their have actual like character conflict instead of, because like genuinely, what
well,
is the point of Connors being in No Way Home?
or add more to Doc Ock or the Green Goblin because
Yeah.
like they're both scientists. Like they're
Maybe they cure
it's
him.
so
The
weird that
fuck
they have
knows,
so
man.
many.
There's no point. There's no point to it. It's so stupid. So
I
anyway,
still only watched it once.
yeah, I think I watched it twice because I did an ecom on it. Anyway, don't like No Way Home. That's my take. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I like Max in general. I think he's an interesting character, and I think he's done fine as like a secondary villain, because the main villain is obviously Harry. I mean, I was thinking about it because like Harry drives the plot forward in TASM 2 like fully. Like Peter has no hand in the plot.
Yeah.
So it's like
I,
Harry's almost the protagonist of the movie. It's kind of interesting because like Peter's on his own subplot with like figuring stuff out about his parents, which is all about his character arc. But like in terms of plot, the actual plot of the movie, it's all Harry.
well, this is where I feel like character is an interesting discussion here because I was really frustrated by Harry on this rewatch that he is so busy like trying to find like the cure or whatever. And again, Electra, you have his parents and all that, and Gwen going to Oxford, and there's all these things that eat up screen time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what do they do with Harry? Like, not much. He's just kind of on his own drinking. And I'm like, you had Felicia, you had the board that you established. You could have had him talking with like scientists, trying to like find tangible ways to get the cure because he has that whole information dump that Norman Osborn gave him,
Yeah.
and I I find it a little bit of a shame how little he has to reflect with other people or to have like conflict. He's just they
Sure.
again the drinking. He's just always drinking. It's like
Sure. I mean, I get it, but it's also part of his character that he's alone. Like part of the point is that he is going to die alone, and
true,
everyone
yeah.
wants it to be like that is part of like the thing with this character, and he even drives Peter slash Spider-Man away by like
Well, it's
being
kind of
so like boneheaded. So yeah.
it's kind of like thin though to have like your two lead villains be kind of like loner losers who no one gets.
I
And
mean,
that kind of connects
that is how
them.
they
Is
connect.
that's
Like, I need
they've
you. They discarded
like,
me. Like, they discarded you. Like, I don't know. I think it's fine.
yeah, it's just that like I said though, Felicia, there
Yeah.
were characters that could have been done. So
Oh yeah, they definitely
my
could have
frust
added scenes between him and Felicia. For sure. To like add more character to him. I agree with that.
well, my frustration, so I've mentioned like rewrites like being something that's like hard to do like when you're criticizing a film, but so that's the disease with Harry is kind of what gets everything going. It
Mm-hmm.
is what motivates him to become the Green Goblin in the end. It's what gets like Electro freed. Like pretty much everything stems from that. And then obviously he meets Peter right after, and that's what sets up him trying to get the blood. My frustration is that he only cares about that. And like the second he figures out about the spider venom, he's just like inject it straight into my arm. I'm like, you're not working with any scientists. You're not like working through what
Yeah.
Norman Osborn gave you. You're not like trying to, and not to mention the board trying to oust him from the company and setting up like the trying to
Well,
fake
yeah,
that he like put him
he
in prison.
has his entire thing, and it ties back into the larger theme of the movie relating to time. But he thinks he's running out of time, and he wants to stop his body before it degenerates further. Like even not in just the case of like him
And he
dying,
doesn't.
but just like of losing like his motor skills and everything. Like because his hand is already fucking like
Yeah, he's just like
shaky.
so impatient and just
Yeah.
will like not wait at
And he
all.
thinks that the spider venom already worked, right? Like he has evidence, it's just not
well,
full evidence, and he doesn't
the,
want to wait. So I don't know. I think it's like it's in character. Like his entire character is impatience, I guess. So I don't know.
Well, I was actually weirded out by that when he's talking to Peter. For one, I'm really not a fan of that dialogue they have. Like Peter is so like reserved and combative and pissing him off, and they don't like have a well-rounded discussion. They don't talk about literally that. Like, are you going to test it? Or are you going to run
I
it
mean,
through? If you had
I
to
mean,
talk
Spider-Man
him,
literally says that.
I don't
Like
have
if
time for
you,
that.
yeah, but
No.
Spider-Man says that. Like if you run some tests, and like it takes some time. I don't have time. I don't know.
Well, yeah, just it's I don't know. It feels kind of underwhelming considering what you could be done otherwise. And
Sure.
so the thing is, he says that like his his cells regenerate or something like that, and it's like, what's the evidence for that? He clearly has the powers of a spider because he can like stick to walls and stuff like that. For one, he's like, he was bitten by a spider here. I'm like, that's a leap for one. For two, that
I mean,
like
he has
it,
spider
I'm
powers, so that's
sure
like. I mean, he's taking a lot of leaps anyway. Like, like everything is like a bunch of leaps.
it's why I yeah, the movie could have I feel like it's just, again, with the changing, the not wanting to be like Raimi, like maybe this would have been a better just straight up Green Goblin movie. Where just, Harry Osborn is Green Goblin. I'm like,
Mm.
why not? But it's like no one wants Green Goblins anymore. It's like, well, until Willem Dafoe comes back, and it I don't know. It's a little undercooked. It ties into the character element of him being impatient and not willing to wait. And, it's fine for the villains to have flaws that like bite them in the ass at the end. It's just I do feel like I feel like he's even more undercooked than Max, even though he drives the plot more. Like Max is maybe a little bit more fleshed out, or at least gets more dialogue with other characters.
I don't think I agree that he's more fleshed out. I don't know, I always really liked Harry. I think he's an interesting character. Just his impatience and like, because like, it's very like analogous to shit. What's the name? The disease that 13 has in House.
Alzheimer's.
No, 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 no.
Oh, I haven't seen House yet.
Huntington's. Yeah, that's the one. Um, that I mean, it feels very analogous to Huntington's, losing your motor skills and just dying very very early. I think that was probably the inspiration more so than Alzheimer's. Because like I don't think like Norman was like losing his mind. He seemed very lucid at the end there.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I love Chris Cooper as Norman Osborn.
Oh yeah.
I think he's really good. It's a shame that he wasn't in the first movie because I don't know, they couldn't fit him in. They didn't want to cast him, but like, and it's a shame that he dies right away. But he's really good. I love it on his deathbed. He just tells his son, I'm like, yeah, you're dying. I never told you your entire life. It's like, damn, that's cold, Norman. And he still sets him up for success. He can't help it. But I really like Chris Cooper. Good performance, good interpretation of the character.
Yeah, and they were planning on bringing him back. So, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
fake
there's
his death or flashbacks.
yeah,
or...
they do say like when they're in the commentary when they show like him at his deathbed and the nurses and everything, they say like, oh, you can see. I don't remember exactly what like they point out. It's like, oh, you can see like the thing there. Like, oh,
Well, we
is he
don't
still
see
alive or
him.
that? So yeah.
I mean, we don't see him die.
Yeah,
and in
I
comic
think he.
books, that's like
Yeah.
that's always the thing. If there's no body, they're not
Yeah,
dead.
I think they were like
It's just-
cryogenically freezing him or something. Maybe I'm not sure. So regardless, they did tease that he would return. Which I mean, yeah, he's a good actor, and I liked his performance a lot. And speaking of performance, I have a question for you. Do you think Dane DeHaan is good as in this movie?
Yeah,
That tentative, yeah. I was good because I love him in this movie, but I know people like think he's like the worst. I mean, other than Jamie Foxx as Electro, but like people think that for other reasons, not because Jamie Foxx is bad, just because they find Electro cringe. But like, I think a lot of people really don't like Dan DeHaan in this movie.
Well, I feel similarly as I do with the two of them, where they both have like cringe moments, but there is you can tell what they're going for. Like the big one is you're a fraud, Spider-Man. It's like I don't think he pulls off the rage as well. Honestly, I've always said that I think in another life he would have been a good Anakin Skywalker. I think he pulls off like menace with like an edge of petulance really well. I think he would have been a good casting for a character like that. It's just that when he goes villain mode, when he goes like, I can't wait, I'll never, I need it now. Like I don't think he pulls off the intimidation in like the way that the movie maybe thinks it is. Maybe that's not the point.
Yeah, I don't
maybe
think that is the
supposed to
point.
be pathetic.
I think the point is that he thinks he's intimidated. It's like the entire thing. Like everyone wants my money. Like he's supposed to feel like this, like powerful person because he's inherited, money and power from Norman, but he isn't actually. He is a little pathetic. I think that's kind of more the point. I don't think he's meant to feel intimidating. I think he's meant to think he is.
Well, I mean, what do you think about him as the meth monster at the end of the movie? Because that costume, is that the point that it's supposed to look dumb and bad, or is that supposed to be intimidating? Because
I don't think it's supposed to be intimidating. I think it's supposed to be
latter.
creepy because it feels like some like body horror shit. It just feels
Sort
off-putting
of.
to me. I don't think it's supposed to be intimidating. I think it's just supposed to be like scary, not scary, creepy, like very off-putting. If I don't know, I don't like looking at him. Like the fucking scene where he like his body like is all changing, and they have the fucking like the fucking his back bones just like
Yeah, like
moving.
altering
Just like
shapes and his
Jesus Christ,
skin moving
that
around.
gets
Yeah,
under my
it's
skin. That is very I ugh. But in a good way. I think it's effective body horror. I don't know. I think he's meant to look creepy, not look intimidating, not look like scary. Just look like ugh, like look at what you did. Try to save yourself, basically.
I don't know. I it's certainly not my favorite of goblin designs. I don't know what I
I mean,
would
I think
have.
it's
I
fair. They try
mean,
to go for a very like grounded, like real, like oh, it's fucking military equipment, and he's meth head and everything. Which it's not ever gonna be as good or fun as like the comic, like counterpart or like the Spider-Man one design they had with
yeah.
the Green Goblin mask, which is just iconic. And I mean, obviously, Spider-Man 3, they
Well,
tried to go for a
I
more grounded thing too, and like that didn't look great either for
well,
Harry.
it's it's ironic because a lot of people compare this to Spider-Man 3 in
Uh huh.
terms of having like multiple villains and feeling kind of convoluted. And I laugh that this does kind of feel like emulating that version of the Green Goblin when we still haven't gotten like the classic mask look outside of animation. It's hard to pull off in a live action movie. That's one of the reasons why they've like not done too much of the masks, but I don't know. It, Harry is his own deal, and I just my thing, like I was mentioning to you, is that he shows up at the end. I feel like at him as actually the Green Goblin feels like an afterthought, and it's a shame because maybe they just didn't want it to be them teaming up. That it would be because that happens in the comics, villains team up. There's like one a comic I really like is when Peter's like injured, I think. He's got like an arm sling that he's wearing through the comics, and Craven and the Vulture team up and fight him, and he fights the two of them across two issues, and it's really good. Um, it's just they beat Electro, and it's this whole thing, and then it's like the ending to me with Green Goblin just feels like the obligatory, like, okay, Gwen needs to die now. It's like Gwen and Gwen. What
I
do we
don't
know
think
Gwen
so.
from? She dies, and it's like,
I don't think
okay,
so. I think it was always. I mean,
well,
they
they
they they
need
even
her in the
said
third act and keep her
they even
around. It's like it's
said
my choice to
yeah,
stay and
they
die.
even
And
said in the commentary that they planned from the beginning, even when they made TASM 1, to kill off Gwen, and it was like part of the point of how they wanted to do TASM 2. Um, so I don't know. It's I think it's the thing of like, because like the movie makes a big point about her agency, which I think is an interesting part of her character when compared to someone like MJ from the Raimi trilogy, which feels very much just like a damsel in distress
well,
kind of.
I, I admittedly, I'm glad. Again, another criticism that is very clearly like I love. Have you heard of the channel The Unusual Suspect?
I've seen a few of their videos. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's pretty cool. He mostly does like music stuff nowadays rather than movie reviews, but he did movie reviews on these two movies, and I love that he said that. It's like I think it's like three times in the original it's like three or four that like Peter saves MJ in that movie, and one of them is like in a lunchroom when she falls, and it's like how many times does he save Gwen in this movie? Zero. And it's like she saves him, but like hitting the lizard with the trophy as well. So I feel like that might have been a like, correcting the error as it were with like the first movie where they didn't want her to feel like a damsel.
Uh huh.
But I do unfortunately find Gwen a little thin in these movies.
Really, I really like her.
I feel like these movies are driven, like with Gwen and Peter, they're driven by chemistry rather than character. Because, they were dating. And it's like a lot of people have rightfully said, I'm like, doesn't their dialogue feel like more natural? Like, doesn't it feel like they kind of are like into each other more than a lot of other actors? It's like, yes, but what they actually talk about is my issue. All the dialogue scenes, like just feels like leaning into cuteness, and they don't like grow from each other all that much. It's always like dialogue rather than something that they're directly invested in. And
I mean,
I
don't
don't
you think
know.
the
Like,
whole Oxford thing is that of like her wanting to like grow into like her
well,
own person and show her own agency, and Peter like wanting to shelter and protect her in the same way her dad did? Like, don't you think that's like that?
sort of, I guess. Like you could look into it as that. I don't know how much the I that's supposed to connect to her dad. It just
I
felt
mean, I think pretty
like
much when like the first movie made a big point of like her of Peter being like her dad, of always putting himself in danger and wanting to protect her the same way.
yeah, that honestly is probably my favorite dialogue between the two of them when she says, or there's another scene that's really good that I, but that when she says that like every day I wasn't sure if he'd come home,
Yeah,
and obviously he feels the same about her in these movies because he doesn't want her in danger. Um, but like they're like seemingly fine at the beginning of the movie, and then right after the graduation, like she breaks up with him. And it's like, yeah, that's like
um,
less than 20 minutes, and then
well, he
break up,
breaks.
and then
He kind of
well,
breaks up with. I mean, obviously she
I
says, "I
break
break
up
up
with
with you."
you.
Obviously, there's a
Uh-huh.
big point about her agency, of course, but more in the sense of like he starts the conversation. It's not like she's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna break up with you." She breaks up with him because he
She,
keeps like going on and off. But
yeah,
it's just
exactly.
pedantry on my side. Ignore me.
But
I do agree that it feels a little weird at that in that sense of just like, oh, they're fine and then they're not. But they do add that one line of like, oh, you've done this to me again and again. So it just seems like a recurring issue between them, which I think makes sense from like Peter's conflicted state of mind between him wanting to fulfill the promise to her dad and him wanting to be with Gwen because of how much he loves her, and you know his love for her being like part of why he can't be with her. It's like all of that mixes into like this big confusing blob inside Peter's mind. So yeah,
I think it feels so on again, off again, unfortunately, though. And I don't, I wish that there was more of them when they were at their peak. And I have the same
sure.
problem with MJ. I don't like MJ in the original movie, and it's largely because she's very needy, and so much of it is driven by the secret identity. I love that about the two of them, that they know each other's secret identity. That's like something I've never a fan of in the comics, but like, so you have that connection with her dad and the Branzino scene. But in the second movie, so like the Oxford thing, for one, I love that. Like she like is like saying it's like, hey, let's be friends, and it's like, hey, I'm leaving, by the way, forever. It's like, Jesus, Gwen,
I mean,
okay.
yeah, she
And
was
then
obviously lying about the friends thing. It was just a way to get the conversation started. She didn't feel comfortable like saying right away, "Hey, I'm
yeah.
leaving
Well
forever."
then Well, then she like fucking leaves him a phone message. Like that was kind of a bitch move when she just is like, "Hey, I stopped by your house, but you weren't there, so I'm like, here's a message. This is gonna work out. Bye."
I mean, the
It's like,
messages are a
what?
lot more heartfelt than that, Evan. Like the message is a
What?
big point of like it just makes
Yeah,
things easier because meeting you would be too hard,
don't,
like face to face, which I
don't.
cannot completely understand.
Yeah, don't break up with people over the phone,
Oh
though.
yeah,
God forbid, like that shit's wrong. I don't know. And the scene
yeah,
when they like when he leaves the message is kind of cute. The dialogue's all right. I just feel like they didn't give them a reason to love each other. And in the second movie,
sure,
it feels like they're relying on more like off screen, like the
yeah.
time jump between the two and
I
new
guess I
drama.
guess I can agree with that. It does feel like it's just like they have good chemistry and not really like a reason to be
Yeah,
into each. I mean, I feel like there
it's
is a bit in the first movie of her like seeing a bit of her father in Peter, that protectiveness and that like want to do good, no matter what, and always putting himself in the light of fire, and that's part of why she falls for him so fast. In terms of Peter, I don't really know if there's anything like particularly that makes him like super into her. Like he has a crush on her before the movie even starts, so it's just like that. There's not
yeah,
really like a reason for him. I think it has more for her, but yeah, I can kind of agree with you. They could have done
yeah.
more with like what they mean to each other rather than just being like, oh, their chemistry is good and that's gonna carry the movie. Because I do agree their chemistry is a big part of
Well,
why these movies, well, in my opinion, work.
Well, and honestly, that I'm like not gonna lie, it's better than can be said for a lot of others. Like it's good when your two romantic leads just have good chemistry
Yeah.
and work on screen together. Because like I don't get that at all from Toby and MJ. It's like, why do these two like each other? It seems like they can't stand each other, and it's like, and he's always saving her, and she's always in danger. It's like, Jesus, these two are destructive. But from the very beginning, he's just obsessed with MJ, and I'm like, okay, then cool. it's it's a little more toned down and natural in these movies, which I like. And you know, Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield are both great, so
They
yeah,
are, yeah.
it's yeah, maybe a little more. Admittedly, for me, the romance has never been all that interesting part of Spider-Man
Spider-Man.
comics for me.
Yeah.
It's not why I read them. So
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I mean, it's weird, right? Because they got the guy from 500 Days of Summer, so everyone praises that aspect of the movie. It's like, oh yeah, their chemistry, their dialogue, all that is very cute and fun and good. When even when
we
they
gotta
don't like
watch
person.
some of Mark Webb's other stuff because, like I said, I've been curious to rewatch that movie Gifted, and I
Uh,
does he have a newer? It
he
might
has
be
a
like a studio
he has a
type of.
movie coming out soon that's gonna be like Johnny Depp's return, which is just like great job, Mark Webb, like working with a fucking abusive asshole.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole. We don't have to get into Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
No,
Jesus,
yeah, it's just like, yeah, he's
I
gonna be
don't
part
know.
of
It
Johnny
probably.
Depp's like return to Hollywood.
Oh
So,
Christ! That's right. He directed the new Snow White.
oh, it was him?
Yes.
No
Like I
way.
said, of course, yeah, of course, the big studio thing that he's involved in. That's so. As far as I'm concerned, that movie doesn't. All of the live action Disney remakes don't have a director, but like that
Yeah.
is the most directorless product like that I've ever seen from Disney, and people hated it like years before it came out. It's so fucking embarrassing.
I mean, Snow White had the whole thing
People,
because of fucking Rachel Ziegler as well, with the
Ziegler,
racists going
exactly.
after it.
Yeah,
It was like
the fuck the
that
deck
movie
was stacked
was,
against that
yeah.
movie from day fucking one.
Yeah, because normal
It
people didn't want to
probably,
see it, the racists didn't want to see it, then who's gonna see it?
yeah, it's probably not that bad. Like, well, the dwarfs, man, I don't care. All live action Disney movies are the same.
uh,
Good luck with that Johnny Depp project, Mark Webb, because these movies, like, there's the irony of this is like I probably prefer the first TASM over the two, but the second movie I would definitely say is more visually appealing and
uh-huh.
like has it has better costume. It's probably got like better plotting and better pacing. Like we
Yeah.
already mentioned that the origin story isn't a thing. Guy's got a gift, and I'd love to see
Yeah, I think
him
he's a
do
pretty
more
good director. To be
projects.
fair, I've only seen from him the only things I've seen in 500 Days of Summer and these two movies. And upon learning about his involvement with Johnny Depp, I'm like, I'm not looking forward to supporting anything else he makes. I'm more just like, whatever. Like, super on his side. But he does seem to, like, get Spider-Man in a way that I think, like, I don't know, like John Watts doesn't. Like, I don't know.
Well, honest,
That's a whole
that's
thing
another
with the
thing.
MCU Spider-Man, because I think both of us really don't like MCU Spider-Man, so.
Well, that's another thing to get into is Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, because you want a hot take from me? I don't like any of the live action Spider-Man movies. Like, not really.
Damn.
I
Really?
They
You
all
don't
have
even like the
really good
Raimi ones?
elements.
Because, like, I find
No,
it so
I
fun.
because
Even if I don't think they're perfect, I just find them so fun.
well, I was mentioning the horror tone. I'm just like, I don't think the guy who directed Evil Dead is who should have directed fucking Spider-Man.
I mean, that's
And it's like
fair.
that's why it ends in like a barbed wire graveyard where they're like beating the shit out of people and then like and all the villains die in these movies rather than go to jail, like because they always go to jail in the comics. It's just like I I don't know. It's its own deal, but I we have like different attempts. We got three separate attempts at like Spider-Man as an adaptation on the screen. My favorites have always been the animated versions of Spider-Man. My favorite Spider-Man is the Spectacular Spider-Man with Josh Keaton. I feel like that tonally and in terms of like episodes, that's another thing to be said is that arguably superheroes work better in animated TV format because you don't have to worry about the suspension of disbelief
Oh,
with
yeah.
tying it into the real world and And
Agree with that
it's more
completely.
episodic, more like comic books, or they're just like something you read quickly in an afternoon. But I I feel like Andrew is always my favorite of the three, and we have the three in No Way Home, and people really liked what Andrew Garfield was going for. They
Yep.
implied like a darker path he went down after Gwen died, and it's really interesting in that movie, and he does great. And I feel like of the three, he probably gives the best performance and is arguably the best actor. And it, I really like him in this role. It would have been nice had he had more of an opportunity to move forward or been associated with the MCU. And
Yeah.
he does look old. I will. All of them kind of do, other than Tom Holland, which that was kind of the point of getting someone as young as Tom Holland. But I love Andrew Garfield as Spider Man. I think he's probably my favorite of the three different actors who played him.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice note to end on, because yeah, he's also my favorite. But I love that version of Spider-Man just in general. I don't know. I mean,
I
I'm positive on Spider-Man way more than you. I think like the movies. Like I love the Raimi trilogy. I love this Amazing Spider-Man movies more than I do the Raimi trilogy. And I mean, I barely remember any of the MCU Spider-Man movies other than No Way Home, and I don't remember No Way Home for good reasons. So yeah.
That's funny. I'm like the people always say that Captain America: Civil War is a better Black Panther movie than Black Panther.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's almost a better Spider-Man movie
Movie to
too.
then
I'm like,
Homecoming, yeah.
I I don't know. I was just never a fan of the Tony Stark as like the father figure, except kind of not. I can't believe they did that. They killed May in the third movie, and it's like, there you go. He did
That's
have a
your
father figure who
yeah,
died.
that was
It's
the
like,
Uncle Ben
now
death, and
that
you're like,
happened
okay.
in the third movie. Now he's
I
really
mean, that
Spider-Man.
is a joke that people make about every Spider-Man appearance. That by the end of Civil War, now he's really Spider-Man. By the end of Homecoming, now he's actually become Spider-Man. For real. He's learned the great power, great responsibility lesson. The end of No Way
Yeah,
Home, Far From
and
Home,
they
the
said
same thing. And
it.
then the end of No Way Home, Aunt May dies. It's like again, and then he finally literally say the line from Aunt May. You're like, okay, now we're doing this. So Brand New Day is gonna be the one, the definitive, actually Spider-Man.
I remember laughing at that scene in the theater when she fucking exploded. I'm like, you have lost your living privileges. I'm like, you're dead. If you get, she like gets up. I'm like, die. You're dead. That's what they did. I'm like, and they just play it out, and she says it like great with great power. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you just couldn't help yourself, could you? It's like it's thematic because all the Spider. Go fuck yourself. You threw this together for fan service. I genuine fingers crossed for Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's the title. Who knows what they'll do? They can do anything they
Yeah, and
want.
it's
And
Destin
it's like
Daniel
a
Cretton
slightly new
instead of
cast.
fucking John Watts, so that's already nice. And they're doing practical swinging, which they haven't done since TASM,
Well,
which, yeah.
all those behind the scenes, they got like a truck rig and all that for like a chase through the city. And like it looked pretty, and the suit looks good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what they do with Tom Holland moving forward. I'm just yeah.
Yeah.
You want a ranking actually off the top of your head for like I don't know what's the bottom of your list. Mine is actually probably Far From Home rather than No Way Home. I dislike that movie more. I think there's less character material and it's less substantive.
Um, okay, ranking, the top of my head. Okay. TASM 2 first, then TASM 1. And I'm going off of enjoyment, not really just being like, oh, this is like the
Yeah,
best.
don't read too much into it. Just
Yeah.
like I said, just what makes sense.
Yeah. Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's why it's why I preface that by saying that, because Spider-Man 3 is
It
my
is
favorite
really
Raimi movie.
funny and entertaining in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
So
it
yeah.
is. So Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, uh
Oh, you
no,
prefer 1 to 2?
yes, I think it's more fun. I always
Oh,
thought 2 was like too serious to like, oh, Peter going through like losing his powers and everything. I think 1 is a bit more of a vibe of like, I just watch it and I don't see time passing. 2 is more like trying to be something more. So, and it's like,
yeah.
to the movie's credit, it's just like not, doesn't appeal to me as much. Um, actually, Okay, so I would say No Way Home is probably my favorite of the MCU Spider-Man movies, but
Beats
because
out Homecoming.
yes, because
Huh.
I find Homecoming so boring that I barely remember it, even though I've seen it like 3 times. And it's the same for Far From Home. I remember so little of Far From Home. And No Way Home, I remember, maybe not in good ways, but at least I remember it. So I don't know. And
Yeah.
obviously, I like what they do with a few characters. I like what they do with Tasm, Peter. I like what they do with. Well, I kind of like what they do with Max. I like the general like Peter like having to sacrifice his love interest by the end of the movie and having to move on. Like I think that's all
Oh,
interesting.
and by the way, the scene when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man saves Mary Jane, like that is really
Yeah. Oh
cool.
yeah.
That is such a cool moment when he just nails the save.
Yeah.
And you can just tell, and, you know, it didn't save his girl, but
Yeah.
it's like some sort of catharsis for him for like what he lost, and oh, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So genuinely, like it has some good moments. I think it has probably the most substance of the three, at least from what I can remember. I don't know if Homecoming is good or not. I genuinely don't remember that movie to be able to say if it's good or not. And then I probably put No Homecoming and Far From Home at the bottom, just because I find Far From Home not only boring but also frustrating whenever I do watch it. So yeah, that's my
Yeah,
Spider-Man ranking.
let me see. Top, I'd probably go Spider-Man 2 or TASM, because I did watch like the original TASM a lot more. I'm not sure which. No, I prefer the first TASM.
Okay.
I'd say TASM, maybe TASM 2 after that, honestly. Spider-Man 2 probably beats that out, though. I think I prefer that a little bit more. Then TASM 2, Spider-Man 1, um, and then I only saw No Way Home once, but I'd say Homecoming I prefer to No Way Home, and then Far From Home. So
You didn't play Spider-Man 3.
oh shit. um, I like Spider-Man 3 more than I think I'd probably put that below like TASM 2, wherever that was, or like, yeah, below the first Spider-Man. Like
Okay.
Spider-Man 1, then Spider-Man 3, then Homecoming, because I definitely I get a lot more enjoyment out of that than I do for Homecoming. That's for sure. If it were between the two, I'm like, I would go for Spider-Man 3.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, same. All right. Okay. Damn, you got a lot of, substance from this one video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this
Yeah,
episode of the podcast. We talked a lot.
honestly, I'm glad that we managed to talk as long as we did, and
Yeah.
then on as many subjects, because like I knew I was going to be more combative with you
Mm-hmm.
than this one, and
Oh,
that I'm
yeah.
like overall don't quite vibe as much as you, but
Yeah.
I think we talked in pretty good detail. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't love this movie as much as like Babylon, Like this is not that other episode was very different. This is just like a superhero movie. We need to balance our expectations, but it is fun and I really like the Amazing Spider-Man movies. They hold a very special place in my heart. And yeah, folks, I don't know, just thank you very much for listening to us for 50 episodes. Like it's
50
pretty
episodes. It's so
pretty crazy.
well. Seriously, I want to do something cool as well for like the official year anniversary. I'm not sure when that is. Is that like
September
September?
2nd, I think. I'll check, but I think it's September
Jeez,
2nd.
that's I find it so insane that we made this work like weekly. We've kept this consistent, and it's one of like, and again, I always said that from the beginning that I didn't really care about like views or like covering like things that were like popular or that
Yeah.
would get us like more clicks. I'm just like, I just kind of wanted to talk with my friend for like maybe a half hour or so, and we've just kept that up. And
Yeah.
these have always been casual, and this is great. So like, do you love this podcast? You've been watching it like even infrequently. Like, thank you for tuning in, because I'm glad that other people are interested in our ramblings about random movies that we want to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, genuinely thank you. It has helped me so much mentally and just like being able to watch more movies frequently because I at least
Yeah,
watch
just
one movie a week now, like for sure, because
it,
of this.
gives you a good excuse, and I'm glad that we hold ourselves to that and keep watching like new stuff or stuff that
Yeah,
we've watched before. And it's just yeah,
yeah,
I laugh. I wanted to watch more movies this summer, but I've been so busy with my video, and I just wanted to read and write and watch more movies. But it's nice having this podcast to give us an excuse.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, folks, genuinely, thank you for listening to us for 50 episodes. Um, here's to 50 more. Hell yeah. Ooh, episode 100. What are we gonna do for that? Endgame. We should do Endgame because we've
Oh
teased that
God,
for
I don't think we'll
ages.
be able to resist before. We are gonna cover that movie one day. I have
Yeah,
so much to say. It's actually unbelievable. Like I'm,
five
especially with
hour
where the
episode on
MCU
Endgame.
is right now. The bleeding with Fantastic Four, that 80% drop. Ooh, the God is bleeding, and I
Yeah.
feel like the fucking cerebral hemorrhage is coming soon. They need to reboot because they're literally behind DC now, and it's so funny. Like DC is rebooting. They got the Batman as well, and other independent projects like that. The MCU is going to need to get relevant again quickly.
Yeah. So maybe that, or maybe something else, because like you said, we might not resist that. But yeah. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you had fun, and I hope you give the Amazing Spider-Man movies another chance. Because I think a lot of
Yeah,
people overlook them.
it's funny. I have a really similar reaction. I would recommend the first Chasm, but the second one feels like Babylon to me, where I'm just like, give it another shot, give it a fair shot. If you just watch this in theaters and you didn't like it, and you've never gone back, at like, there is something there, especially in comparison to a lot of modern superhero movies. Of
Mm-hmm.
like, give it a shot. I'd recommend it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we're gonna catch you next week with Rear Window, and then we're gonna go back to the recommendation system. Obviously, this episode skipped that, like I mentioned at the beginning. But yeah. So thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.